I suggest to you that if you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy. Work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation. This is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me. And you have the power to do that. You can decide that you're going to change.
Unbelievable start to this fight.
Jacobs doing a good job.
Vicious right hand. And the referee has already stopped the fight. Mamma mia. Matisse. Oh, and fires off the right hand. Andrade goes down. Mora has stopped the fight. Lucas Matisse has won. Oh, and he knocks him down in the flat with a beautiful right uppercut. Wow.
I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is Jeremy Sports Network coming to you live. And it's fight week, right? This is what we prepare for. This is what we here for. This is what the fighters, get to the point to where they're making sure they're watching their weight. They're getting ready to weigh in and put themselves in position to be successful, right? Fight week. I love it. Don't get any better than this. But this week in particular, we got one of my good friends from Brooklyn, Courtney King Penn Pennington, will be joining us tonight as he gets ready to prepare to defend his title, his UBF title, on this Thursday. And I'm looking forward to it. And not only that, we got good news. We got Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. He's in a deal now with HBO to where we're going to start seeing more of Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. And I'm excited about that, right? As a fight fan, you can't help but be excited for what it is that we're getting this year in boxing. I've said it time and time before. I've said it all year long, ever since January kicked off. Hey, this has been the year right here in boxing. And I'm happy. I'm prepared. I'm ready. But for a second, we're going to talk about Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade before the champ calls in. But a little bit about Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Those of you who don't know, the Olympic, champion. He's the WBA Super Welterweight champion. He's the interim champion. Now, the top champion for the WBA is Erislandy Lara. But Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, what's interesting about him is he just moved up to middleweight, right? And he moved up to middleweight, and he's going to face a guy in Alantes Fox. Now, I don't know Alantes Fox in particular as far as his fight game or anything is concerned. I don't know. But from what it is that I'm seeing is he's not a pushover. He's 23-1 with only one defeat. And he seems to be a really good fighter at the middleweight division. Now, at middleweight, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, he said that he was willing to go up at 160. And he wants to fight top contenders. He didn't want to fight any tomato cans that didn't punch back. He wants to fight contenders. And in this fight in particular against Fox, I think it's a good fight. I believe, the last time we saw Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade in the ring against a taller opponent, he fought in the inside. And Fox is a tall opponent, And I think Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade will take that fight on the inside. They're supposed to be fighting in October on the 21st, 2017. It'll be this year. And we'll get to see this man in the ring. But like I said, the last time he fought an opponent of height, a little bit taller than him, he fought him on the inside. And he did a great job in breaking his opponent down when he did that. But with Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, his inactivity is a problem as far as he is concerned. And that's the only thing that comes with Boo Boo Andrade is the inactivity. Now that he has that, I don't want to say it's a deal with HBO, but you know, he will be fighting on HBO. I think this puts him in position to have more fights on HBO and take away from the inconsistencies he's been having away from the ring. Now, earlier this year in March, when we saw him fight, you know, when he fought Jack Koke, he went over to the UK, and I don't know if it's the traveling that's an issue or a problem with UK fighters when you fight over in the UK. But he was sluggish. You know, he didn't put on his best performance, but he still was able to come out of there with the WBA title and be champion. And with Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade doing that, you know, you have to be happy for him for that. And it kind of puts him in the mandatory position to take on Iris Landilara. Now, we know Iris Landilara is already in a fight on October the 14th, but maybe that's a fight that we could get coming next year. Or with Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade staying in the middleweight division if he feels good at middleweight. Now, we don't know for sure if he's going to stay there, but he's testing it out. And if he feels good at middleweight, you know, it's a lot of guys there at middleweight. You know, think about it. Maybe he could get a Canelo. And, you know, Canelo, we didn't think we was going to get Golovkin Canelo, but we got that fight. And we don't know what we can get in the future as far as Andrade is concerned, because he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. Those of you who follow boxing and who know the sport, you know who Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade is. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later on in the show. And I'm looking forward to it. But as far as today goes, my man Courtney King Penn Pennington, I'm looking forward to chatting with him. And those of you who are tuning in, if you want to chat with the champ, you got some questions you may want to ask, hey, ask. You know, drop it down in the comment section and ask away. You know, I'm looking forward to it. But at the same time, this is awesome. And what I mean by that is, think about this for a second, right? Say, for instance, we get some things brewing up in the welterweight division, right? The Super Welterweight Division, as far as things are concerned. We know who are there. We know Crawford done moved up to welterweight. You know, there have been talks with Manny Pacquiao and Terrence Crawford. There have been talks. Now, outside of that, right? Outside of that, we don't know what could happen as far as Errol Spence is concerned. We don't know what could happen as far as Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, all those guys, right? We don't know what could happen and take place right now in boxing with those guys. All we know is that it is a division full of top fighters. And they're all making their way to take on that one guy who we all know is Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is probably the most wanted man in boxing. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. Think about that for a second. Who is the most wanted man in boxing? It got to be Keith Thurman in the welterweight division. And the reason why we're talking about the welterweight division is because my man Kingpin fights in the welterweight division. And he's slowly putting himself in position to where he could take on one of these big opponents. Right? He already captured the UBF, you know? And as more as he, well, the more he continues to put in the work and work hard, hey, guess what? It's right around the corner for the champ to be able to put together a big fight. A big fight. And I'm looking forward to it. Right? And I want you all to be aware of what it is that he's doing. That's why I have you guys tuned in tonight to be able to chat with the champ. You know, this is a good opportunity for those of you who don't know who Courtney King Penn Pennington is. This is your chance to get to know him. Right? This is your chance. He's 11-3-1. He's young. I think we're about the same age. I think we're both around that 30 mark. 30 years old, 29, 30. And he is by far, one of the best fighters to come out of Brooklyn. And matter of fact, this is the champ right now. Champ, how you doing?
Hey, Jerry, what's going on, brother?
Right.
So it's kind of, it's marketing for yourself. Yeah, that's good. But you're fooling yourself. You didn't test yourself. A lot of these fighters get big heads, because they're beating up, bums. I like the fact that I challenged myself early. Took a couple L's in the process, but we learned from that. I'm battle tested and I'm better for it.
And that's all that matters. You take those losses early and you learn something from it, but it puts you in a position to be better each and every fight that comes up after that. And we saw that from, a good guy who we could name is Tevin Former.
Yes.
Tevin Former took some losses early in his career, but he was able to bounce back and put himself in position to where he can now fight for a title.
Tevin Former, because of that, he's one of my idols, man. He's one of my idols. Like you said, took some losses, 4 losses or something like that. And
right.
A lot of people consider him as, the best at 135 is that? He's one of the best at 135.
Right. He is.
Love his defense, love his composure, love him as a fighter. Early on, they counted him out, but make them all believe with your perseverance. I love that.
Most definitely. Now, Champ, I'm gonna ask you, about your division in welterweight as it is concerned. Y'all are deep in that division, Who do you see yourself taking on? Perhaps, I know you look at this fight, you're not going to look past this fight, but in the future, who is it that's in the division who you feel as though is the most wanted man right now in your division?
Well, in my division, I'm a super welter. Me and my coach were really talking about going down to welterweight to 147. We really wanted to go down to 147, but actually we've been staying there because we got some pretty good offers with some fights that made a lot of sense, like the first in February, the Kyrie Gray fight. That was a title fight, so that made sense. So I stuck around.
Most definitely.
Devin Rodriguez fight, that made terrific sense, so I stuck around. And now, we've been trying to make this fight happen with Steven Martinez. That made sense. So once again, I'm sticking around. But I really plan on going down to welterweight after this. Aside from Martinez, I was really looking for, Joshua Clottey. I really wanted to start to fight him because he was a big name. But as far as you say, who's the most wanted guy at Super Welterweight? Is Orlando Lara. Now that Mayweather's gone, is Orlando Lara is that guy at Super Welterweight. I tell you right now.
And I was talking earlier before you called in, is Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade being the interim WBA champion.
You are right. That's a guy. I know I shouldn't be forgetting about him. He's actually on the same promotional team as me as well. But man, he's one of the most talented guys at 154. I don't know why his name isn't more in the conversation.
To me, I honestly think it's his inconsistencies as far as being inactive. Us waiting too long to get a fight in between. But now the news that done came out now is that he's moved up to middleweight to have a fight in middleweight against Alantez Fox on October 21st.
Wow, that's okay.
So he's testing himself at 160 to see if he likes it at 160, but he's still the WBA interim champion. Do you think that at any point in time, maybe after this fight that you're going to have, that could possibly be a name in the mix of Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade?
Well, especially at 160, hell no.
It'll be.
Not
It'll be for his interim title, the WBA interim title at 154. I mean 152.
I don't shy away from anything. Yeah, definitely that makes a lot of sense. Especially, not to keep going back to the Delvin Rodriguez fight, but if Delvin beat me in that fight, he was gonna face. The plan was for him to face Demetrius Andrade, for the interim title. If he beat me, so actually, I thought that I was gonna get that chance to fight Demetrius, but I understand. I really don't have the name like Delvin had, so I understand them not having me fight Demetrius. But definitely, especially being that we're both with star boxers, it's an easy fight to make.
Right. So Champ, I know you feeling good. How's training? I mean, how did training camp go for you so far?
Training camp's been phenomenal. We've been doing a lot of sparring. I went out to Connecticut a lot and sparred with Cordell Booker. That's a real good friend of mine. Sparred a lot with local guys and stuff like that. Devon Lee won the state middleweight champ. They at Universal Boxing Club, the Queen. Went around the city a lot and did some sparring, but I've been ready. I've been ready for this.
Right. So have you been eating some juniors lately?
Stayed away from the cheesecake. Had to stay away from the cheesecake.
Right, because that's the spot that we actually met each other in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Was there at Juniors.
Oh yeah, getting some breakfast from Juniors. Love Juniors, by the way.
Man, I'm looking forward to getting back there in Brooklyn. Like I said, I'm glad I was able to see you fight Delvin Rodriguez. That was a really good fight. Like I said, you put on a masterful performance in winning in a unanimous decision in that fight. And I think every fight that I've seen you in, from here on out, you're getting better and better and better and better. And like I said, I'm telling everybody, like, hey, you have to tune in to know who the kingpin is at Super Welterweight.
I appreciate that, man. That warms my heart, man. I appreciate you, Jeff.
Oh, no problem, champ, man. I'm glad that you was able to come on and be a part. If you could do me a favor and give everybody your social media so that they will be able to follow you on social media, that'd be great.
So on Ring Maestro on Instagram. That's Ring Maestro, Ring Maestro. Courtney Pennington on Facebook. You can catch me. I'm pretty consistent on both of those. And on Snapchat, Court Dog Baby on Snapchat. I know it's all different names, but bear with me for now.
Most definitely. There you go. Well, there y'all have it, man. It is the champ, Courtney King Penn Pennington, on the line. And as you can hear in Brooklyn, y'all already know what time it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But champ, most definitely, thank you for calling in and chopping it up with us. And we look forward to talking to you after your fight.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'll give you a call back and talk to you soon, brother.
Most definitely. Thank you, champ. And you have a good night.
You too, brother.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, right there, that was the champ. Earlier, we had a few technical difficulties, but we was able to get the meat of this whole entire interview, right? We was able to get the meat of the interview, and in the meat of the interview, we basically talked about, the champ taking on this fight right here. I believe he said with Tino Martinez. And Not only that, but we talked about the upcoming future for the champ. And to me, man, think about this for a second. You know, those of you who are tuning in, think about this for a second. The champ, well, I call him the champ, but Kingpin, the more he continues to win, and like we talked about, think about these fighters, and those of you who are young fighters who are tuning in, just because you take losses early in your career, that shouldn't stop you for what's to come ahead, right? You keep working hard, you keep preparing, you keep doing the things that's necessary in order for you to win, and guess what? You will win. And we're seeing that we saw it with Tevin Former, and Tevin Former now staging a comeback, with his hand. His right hand is feeling really good. He's back in full form. But we seen it with Tevin Former, and now we are seeing it in the making with Courtney King Penn Pennington. And a lot of people don't know the name, but you're going to know the name, right? And I'm giving him to you first, right? I'm giving him to you first. And that's the thing. Those of you who follow my page, you already know I deal with the young fighters. I do deal with fighters who are legends in the sport. Kelly Pavlik, Steve Forbes, those names. But the young up and coming fighters are the ones who are going to be the face of boxing now. You know what I mean? They're going to be the face of boxing real soon. And it's going to be names that none of us know. But I'm going to know because I'm the hardcore fan, right? And I'm the hardcore fan who's going to bring the casuals, information to like this. Everybody knew Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, right? Well, some of you knew Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. And those of you who didn't know Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, you will know who he is. He's going to be fighting on HBO. But like I said, Courtney could have had this fight. Pennington could have had this fight with Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, because in his last fight, he fought Devin Rodriguez. And Devin Rodriguez, if you follow boxing, you should know who Devin Rodriguez is, right? He was 29-8-4, really good fighter, very big name, fought some really good guys throughout his career. Well, matter of fact, he just got another W, so he's 29. He's 29-9. I mean, I'm sorry, he was 28-8 when he fought Pennington. When he fought Pennington, he was 28-8. But he fought some big time names, right? Devin Rodriguez. And the thing with Devin Rodriguez is he's fought in this Larry Lara. He fought Lara in 2015. He fought Miguel Cotto. He fought Austin Trout, Ashley Theophane. You know what I'm saying? He's fought these guys, and think about how good Pennington looked against this guy. Think about how good he looked. That's what people don't understand. If you look really good against a guy who's been in there with the best, who people are claiming is the best, Miguel Cotto, come on now. He lost to Miguel Cotto by TKO, and he lost to Erislandy Lara on the cards, but it went the distance. He lost unanimous decision. I think he defeated Ashley Theophane. I think he won that fight. No, he lost that fight. Majority decision to Ashley Theophane. But like I said, hey, he fought this man and he beat him. And the fact that he beat him and the way he looked when he beat him, come on now. You can't help but be excited for what it is that the Kingpin has brewing for his career. You can't help but be excited about that. And I hate the fact that we missed, the early part of the interview and the conversation with Pennington. But he talked about, like I was telling you all when we first met, was in Brooklyn, and we were chilling. Like I said, we was getting breakfast at Junior's. I think it was fight night. We getting breakfast at Junior's, and Keith Thurman and Danny, we was hanging out with them that night, before the weigh-in and after the weigh-in. Everybody was hanging out together, and then we go and get breakfast that morning at Junior's Cheesecake Factory, right? Because they do like breakfast, lunch. I mean, we're in Brooklyn, and so we're there and we're eating, and we sit down, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna be honest. I was like, the champ just walked. I didn't even know it was the champ, but I was like, man, whoever this dude is, he just walked in with a beautiful woman. I'm just being real, right? Just being real. And we was still talking boxing. We was talking to one of the fighters who actually fought on the card, Clarence Booth. We was talking to Clarence Booth, who was fighting on the card for Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. And Booth came to the table because my boy Jay from Orlando knows him. And he came, he sat down with us and chopped it up with us. And we told him, good luck on tonight. And then when Kingpin heard it, when Pennington heard it, he was like, oh, hey, are y'all boxing fans? We was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, I'm a fighter. And we was like, oh, okay, who are you? He told us who he was. He said he fight out of Brooklyn. And we was like, oh, man, that's what's up, So we started following his career. We started following the champ's career. I don't think he went to the fight. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was there at the fight or not. But we hooked up, we exchanged information, and we've been hooked up with him, and we've been following him ever since, right? It's like you never know who you run into when you're in an event of that magnitude. You never know who you're sitting around, who's sitting next to you. And we ran into him, and it's been magic ever since, and he's been having a wonderful career thus far. And as he looks to continue that, in this fight, we wish him nothing but the best. We wish him nothing but the best. He's deserved it. He's earned it. And like I said, I'm looking forward to what it is that he's going to do come in the near future. But back to this guy at hand, right? Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, who we've been talking about earlier, as this show continues. Now he's with HBO. Are we going to see fully Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade put on a performance to where at 160 to where we could be like, oh my God, like now, 160 could be a problem with Boo Boo Andrade being there at 160, right? Maybe he can capture titles in 2 weight divisions at 160. Maybe he could go and take on a Billy Joe Saunders, maybe. If Golovkin doesn't go ahead and become the undisputed champion and take that title from Billy Joe. We don't know. Like I said, it's a lot of things that's brewing right now in the sport of boxing, and you can't help but be very interested in what's to come. Very interested. And I'm very interested in what's to come in the sport of boxing. But with Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, I'm telling you, he's a talented guy. He's strong. And he fights very well on the inside. We heard him call out the Charlos, and nobody wanted to fight him. Everybody ducked him, But if Jermell defeats Lubin
or if Lubin defeats Jamel, or whatever the case may be, I see Lubin, not talking, because those are two different weight divisions. But talking about Erickson Lubin, I believe Lubin has the ability to beat one of the Charlo twins. And I'm trying to figure out, if Lubin beats Charlo, will they give him a rematch? And then you have the other brother who could possibly, he's the mandatory now for Triple G's title, the WBC. Could he win the WBC? Who knows? That remains to be seen. But if he captures a title at 160, you better believe Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade is going to be calling him out big time. He's going to be calling him out big time. And I'm looking forward to that, like I said. But it's only going to get better in boxing as the time goes on and continue. And like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in right now. It was great chopping it up with the champ. And like I said, we're going to move on and continue as the night goes with things that are going to be taking place as far as the sport of boxing is concerned. Now, be on the lookout for future things happening as far as the Underground Showdown 2. That whole entire card will be revealed. And there's supposed to be an event October 7th, with the Punch Your Way Out, with some young amateurs performing on October 7th. So it's really going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to far as the year ending in boxing. With the year ending in boxing, things are only going to get better and better from here on out. But, this is Jeremy Sports Network. I thank everybody for tuning in. Please be sure to hit that like button. And, we're only going to bring you more of what it is that we brought you tonight. This is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm signing out. You guys have a wonderful night. And I'm out of here. Peace.